Our next presenter is Mark Terry from the Faculty of Environmental and Urban Change at York University, and who is also in the Department of English and Film Studies at Wilfrid Laurier University. Mark Terry is an internationally recognized digital media innovator. His remediation of the documentary film known as the Geo-Doc is currently being used within various divisions of the United Nations as a data delivery system, a new communications tool that bridges the gap between science and policy. His pioneering work with multilinear non-fiction narratives has been recognized by the Academy of Canadian Cinema and Television with their Humanitarian Award in 2011. His work in documenting polar research has also been recognized by decorations with the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Medal in 2013 and the Explorers Club Stefansson Medal 2010.
Hello, my name is Mark Terry, and I'd like to discuss with you today a couple of new approaches I've taken to documentary film production. Especially with respect to using the documentary film as an instrument of social change. I've been a documentary filmmaker for 30 years, and in the last 10 years, I've focused my lens on the subject of climate change. And during that time, I've developed these new approaches I'd like to share with you today. Welcome to the Humanities, Social Sciences and Arts Café, part of the Royal Society of Canada's Celebration of Excellence and Engagement. My presentation today is called Mobilizing Audiences, New Approaches to Documentary Film Engagement. After 10 years of academic research and professional practice, I've developed two new approaches to documentary film production in the service of informing and influencing policy. The first I call the Geo-Doc, a multilinear interactive database documentary film project presented on a platform of a geographic information system map of the world. And the second is known as the direct approach, collaborating with the changemaker before, during, and after production to ensure content required for change is included in an extension of the participatory mode of documentary filmmaking. All right, this is an example of a Geo-Doc. This is a GIS map of the world with lots of colorful pins on it. This project is known as the Youth Climate Report, a project I do in collaboration with the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. And each of these pins represents a documentary short film produced by young people from around the world, representing all 7 continents. And when you click on one of the map's markers, this is what you'll get. You'll see a thumbnail of the film that's embedded in the pin, which you can watch immediately, along with an assortment of metadata, such as the year of production, the country of production, the longitude and latitude coordinates of where the profiled research in the film takes place. You'll also have an assortment of multimedia, such as photography, scientific research papers, and links to websites of research institutes and organizations for further information. The Youth Climate Report provides training to the global community of youth through a series of planetary health film labs offered at the Daudelet Institute for Global Health Research at York University in Toronto. Participants come from around the world to learn how to make documentary short films for this UN Youth program. Going forward, the Youth Climate Report is going to emphasize on the contributions made by Indigenous communities. Last year, we hosted a team of young Inuit filmmakers from Tuktoyaktuk in the Northwest Territories, seen here at a COP25 press conference announcing their new film, Happening to Us. We will also be conducting a planetary health film lab for Indigenous youth in the circumpolar Arctic. We're emphasizing these communities to ensure their voices are heard by the United Nations to inform policymakers of the unique impacts of climate change in this part of the world. So that was the Geo-Doc, a proposed theoretical framework and practical case study of my first new approach to mobilizing the documentary film as an agent of progressive social change. The second approach involves audience mobility through policymaker collaboration. And here's how the traditional model works. First, a film is made, and then it is shown at film festivals. It's during these screenings that the filmmaker and the film itself encourages the audience to take action. And then it is hoped that these protests will result in progressive social change. The model I propose is called the direct approach, and it involves the changemaker right from the beginning. The filmmaker approaches the changemaker and finds out exactly what kind of visible evidence he requires in the film to advance social change. Then the film is made. And then, instead of presenting it to the general public, it is presented to the government or the changemaker involved in the social issue. And then that accelerates the path to progressive change. And does this approach work? Well, more and more, the filmmaker is being given a seat at the table at policy-making sessions such as this one. I have collaborated with the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change successfully each year since 2009. The documentary film has always been an informative and influential instrument of social change, a communications tool that bridges the gap between science and policy, and amplifies the voices of those not commonly heard at policy-making sessions. It is hoped that the two new approaches I presented to you today will continue to develop and accelerate the path to progressive social change throughout the world. If you'd like more information, please refer to my book, The Geo-Doc, Geomedia, Documentary, Film, and Social Change, published by Palgrave Macmillan. Or if you'd like to reach out to me directly, please use these email addresses. Thank you.